Verbs are classified into two categories, transitive and intransitive verbs. Prototypical transitive verbs mean that someone intentionally transforms something, as in the case of hitting and breaking. An English transitive verb requires a direct object. Prototypical intransitive verbs describe an action or change that someone can perform or undergo on his own, as in the case of running and sleeping. There is no direct object for an intransitive verb. Here are two examples of prototypical Japanese transitive verbs. 私がベルを押しました。A direct object in Japanese appears with the particle o. The subject appears with ga. 友達がドアを開けました。And here are more examples. 私がステーキを食べました。母がケーキを作りました。私が新聞を読みました。ルームメイトがテレビを見ました。And two intransitive verbs. 子供が寝ました。子供たちが笑いました。As you can see, transitive as well as intransitive verbs allow a subject, which is marked by the particle ga. The difference between the transitive and intransitive verbs is that intransitive verbs cannot take a direct object. Once you have learned the distinction, you need to study a special category of verbs in Japanese that do not seem to fit the characterization. Here is an example. 新しいコンピューターがあります。What appears as the direct object in the English sentence appears as the subject marked by the particle ga. Here are some more examples. このコンピューターから国際電話ができます。パスワードがいります。パスワードがわかりますか？The peculiar behavior of some Japanese verbs is due to the fact that transitivity is a scalar phenomenon. Between prototypical transitive and intransitive verbs, there are many verbs that do not quite fit either characterization. English draws a line between need and run and classify need as a transitive verb. Japanese draws the line between watch and need and treat need as an intransitive verb. Consequently, いります need cannot take a direct object. Only ga is allowed. 車がいります。This explanation applies to all the verbs in page 8. Other notable expressions which behave the same way are illustrated here. 山が見えます。雨の音が聞こえます。Unlike 見ます and 聞きます, which indicate volitional actions, these describe conditions that hold regardless of the individual's conscious effort. In this sense, these verbs are not transitive enough from the Japanese language's point of view. 思われます recall works in the same way. Likewise, feelings are not actions and cannot take o. 野菜が好きです。野菜が嫌いです。 Ya is another predicate that works in the same way. Similarly, needs and desires are not actions and cannot take O.
車が必要です。車が欲しいです。
You can stop here and come back to the following pages after you study Unit 29, 36, 53, and 63. Some constructions allow ga and o to alternate. This is also related to the issue of transitivity.
目がついた魚を食べられます。目がついた魚が食べられます。
This construction is a potential construction. A potential construction is created by adding the potential marker rare to a sentence as shown.
魚を食べられます。
Since the bracketed part is a transitive sentence, O is allowed. However, the addition of potential meaning reduces the transitive level of the total event, which is now a condition. Therefore, ga is also allowed.
魚が食べられます。
Similarly, the construction for desire, tai, reduces the level of transitivity of the whole sentence. Therefore, ga can also appear in place of o.
ステーキを食べたいです。ステーキが食べたいです。
There is a slight difference in the meaning. The second option describes a strong desire. If you add an interjection like and an emotional ending like na, you must use ga instead of o.
ステーキが食べたいな。
The construction for readiness, te aru, also behaves the same way.
寿司とサラダを作ってあります。寿司とサラダが作ってあります。
Again, there is a slight difference in the meaning. The first option emphasizes a certain individual's foresightedness. In the second, the individual does not have to be around. So far, we have seen cases where o seems to be replaced by ga. There is also a converse case, wakaru, understand, find out. A borderline intransitive verb usually takes ga.
言っていることがわかります。
It takes o when the sense of conscious effort is added.
言っていることをわかろうとしました。